I am all right, guys. I am Bruce Gilliam and Jemal Boone and Whitney Sluder, and this is our case study, our first case study called "The Governor's Speech." And we were supposed to go through this and talk a little bit about it, and we will do that now.
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, you guys. After looking at this case study, I kind of compared it to everything that the governor's speech is. I'm trying to compare it to what we're doing right now and make it relative to us in the state of North Carolina. So I looked at a lot of things through this, and it just kind of reminds me of things that are going on in our state right now with our raises, the funding, the budgets, learning about the House, the Senate, and our governor and things that he's doing right now, and then trying to compare it back to what they're doing. And I was trying to look to see what was our state funding, what was our budgets and things like that. So just trying to compare everything with that.
Yeah, and in doing so, just by I guess looking at the case study itself, it's a very, I don't know whether they just gave us, I guess, the gist of it, but it's very broad.
It is growing.
The statements, and as far as them raising the taxes, and totaling up to $4 billion, and everything is going to education stuff like $300 million. Where's all the money going?
Yeah.
Where's the $300 million going?
Well, and what I thought, Jemal, I mean, the biggest thing is $400 million. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And start, what we do with our state funding with schools, if we raise taxes, that affects people and businesses.
Yeah.
Coming to our area, and then, there has to be money for schools some way. And you see a cause and effect there with that. But where we live in our county, we are the 8th richest county in the state of North Carolina, and we get zero money for us from our lottery. When I hear North Carolina Educational Lottery, we don't get any money from the state of North Carolina. And so these other schools, I'm like, okay, so if the lottery is helping them, it is. It's very broad, and you kind of see what's going on with everybody, because you're trying to treat everybody the same. One of the things I saw today was, when I was talking about teacher raises for us and the budget and North Carolina's budget compared to them, our school resource officer, he doesn't even make $40,000 a year. And he said that they don't even get a raise. The state won't give them a raise. The only money that they get is from local, the county commissioners.
Okay.
I'm like, man, that's not fair. That's just not fair.
Well, are they state funded as well, or?
They are state funded, but in our raise this morning, when I was watching that this morning, their money comes from county commissioners. They want, he had, their raise was not with us. It was a little different. Some had the sheriff and those state employees getting a little bit different, but they were moving us up to the state average. Or 54,000, which put us number 21 in the United States.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's kind of a crazy deal, but
I don't know. At the end too, it talks about what, equity.
Yeah, in our textbook it talks about what, adequacy,
equality,
and I'm like,
now is there a way in which you can measure that, or what?
Let's see, and I think that also goes along with, everybody has a different definition of what equity is. Everybody has a different definition of what equity is, of what, and even what a high quality education is. And I really think until everybody gets on the same page, which I'm but then different states are going to do different things. Like when they talked about in the book about the No Child Left Behind, that was left up to states about what high quality meant. So, here it might be, scoring 70 or above on certain tests, but in another state, high quality might mean scoring 50 or above. Well, that's not the same at all.
Right. And then I looked at that too, the No Child Left Behind, and I was thinking like, in 2010 or 2011, there was a revision to that.
Right.
It's like Obama was talking about how teachers and schools are just teaching to the test.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing that as well. I mean, right now we are teaching to the test. We're under the gun. Our principal is kind of under the gun a little bit with test scores. We went from a B school last year to a C school. And it's just kind of like, the pressure's on, but what do you do?
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, and I also think that when you talk about, like in the speech, when they talk about raising the income tax on individuals and then on corporations, if you look at our school district in Guilford County, we have a little bit of everything. We have super high class people who make tons of money, and then we have people that live below the poverty line.
Right.
If you raise the taxes across the board, is that really helping? Because now you're raising taxes for people above the poverty line or below the poverty line who can't even afford their taxes to begin with. But then you raise taxes for people that can afford to spend more money on tax. It's not really helping either. So it's a big question, and like y'all said, it's really broad.
Well, and going back to what I was saying a minute ago, Whitney, our county has a retiree area where a lot of people from the state of Florida, we have a lot of retirees from Florida move to our area. Well, they've already paid taxes. So in our area, they don't want to raise taxes to help kids. They feel like they've already paid taxes all the way through.
Right.
Our county. I mean, it's got a high income value, but you got to do something somewhere along the lines and try to hit everybody so that we can increase the fund for education.
So I think it would have been helpful if they kind of specified, where and how the money would be spent. If it's on teacher retention, if it's on teacher recruitment, if it's on providing, technology in the classrooms or in the schools, any of those different methods to specify that, it would have been a little bit helpful. But because of, the lack of those details, it kind of leaves you in the air. Yes, the state is not spending, for this case study, the state is not spending as much money in the schools, and it's really relying on local funds, which a lot of local areas, if it's below the poverty level, as Whitney has stated, you're not really receiving that adequate education that you need that will make you highly successful. So
you're exactly right.
And then what are you doing to help the achievement gap? Well, if you don't have the money coming from the local district, then there's going to be an even bigger achievement gap for those students. So are you really providing the same opportunities?
Right.
Or if you are providing the local school districts with these funds, are there any stipulations or regulations as far as to how these funds should be spent?
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, one of the things it talks about in our text too, there was this thing in 2009 called Race to the Top.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing about it, and it said our county, we got that grant. But what happened is that money ran out, and we lost some teacher positions.
Yeah.
We lost teacher positions, and right now we're due to lose another teaching position, and the funding is getting less and less, and more kids, and we're trying to do more with less money. And it's all stats of the day, and it was just unbelievable. Everything's going up, but there's less teaching positions. More students. And it just doesn't seem like we're doing a good job with that.
And then you have to take into account with the rise of the charter schools and the increase of the charter schools within various counties and communities, especially here in Halifax County. Like you said, we are losing teachers next year. Our teacher allotment has decreased actually in this third year at the school. And this year we went down from having 6 members on a team to 4. So now we have one team of people versus having, 2 separate teams on the grade level. And next year we're actually going down even more. We're losing the art position, which is funded through SIG. And we're also losing the band program.
Wow, that's a huge deal.
So 2 areas in the arts, are being lost due to budget deficits or just the lack of money to provide. So, and we're trying to, school improvement we're like, what are we going to do? Because everyone's not going to, be, I guess, accustomed to the AVID program. And if you don't have different sections or modules within the computer technology classes, and in PE, it's not like there's different levels. So, you have these students who are taking the same classes year after year, semester after semester.
Right.
How are they really achieving? I just don't understand. It's very challenging now. So,
well, and I feel, and I know there's challenges. Going back to what Whitney was saying, like, is it really equality? Is it really adequate? But I mean, I don't know what else you do for the funding. I mean, right. What else can a state do? I know this they're raising income tax. They're trying to help out with taxes and cutting taxes a little bit and trying to raise revenue. But it just seems like there's so many people that involves. I mean, if we cut too much, are other businesses and corporations going to want to come to our area? I mean, there's a cause and effect. It may not be now, but it will be later. And I just got to put myself in their situation because I'm a teacher, but I know that every teacher in the state of North Carolina, I mean, we deserve more money. I mean, we deserve it, and you're doing more with less. And I feel it at our school, and I know our county feels it. And we lost teachers' assistants as well.
Yeah.
And like, how do you lose teachers' assistants? And you got all these programs like Smart Start, pre-K stuff. And my son's getting ready to be 5 years old, and I want him to be a part of that. And, so, it's definitely affected me with kids. And I see some of the programs when they cut band. I mean, I kind of see how those things affect the kid.
Yeah, and I was just having a conversation with the band teacher. Now, as we were probationary teachers, we started together. And, you have your 3 years to take your classes.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. So, it's a double-sided there. Although they're cutting the program, but his position would have been cut anyway because he didn't meet the requirements. But at the same token, you have those students and those parents who are invested.
Right.
Many of them who are coming from these low income have spent, their last dollar trying to rent or purchase an instrument.
Yeah.
And some have spent years, at least 2 or 3, if they're in middle school, trying to learn how to play the instrument. So to take away a program like that kind of messes up with the discipline issue as well. So I don't know. So.
And for some kids, being an art teacher, for some kids, band may be what gets them to school every day.
Absolutely.
And especially in middle school, that's a funky.
Yes, it is.
And then now that's going to be taken away, and that's how I feel about sports, about arts. I mean, let's be real, not everybody comes to school because they love math or they love English. So what gets them in the door, and now that's taken away. Now what do you do?
Right.
We're slated to lose our EC teacher next year. I mean, which is
what laws are they going to be violating?
It's what I said. I said it's highly illegal, but she's not scheduled to be there next year. They said that our EC population wasn't like the cutoff point enough for us to have one full time. She already got this past year has been cut to part-time. She shares us and 2 other schools.
Wow.
And so I said, well, what will we do next year when we have a child who has accommodations to be tested in a separate setting? Where will they go? We don't have an EC teacher.
Well, and I think from this race to the top, my wife actually got a job as an instructional coach, and she goes from middle school to high school to 2 or 3 other schools helping beginning teachers. And so when that funding stops, or that grant money, we lose the rest of that grant money, I'm worried about her position. You have to go back in the classroom. Will they find her a job? And what part of the county will they find her a job? She's stuck her neck out just a little bit for the county, and hopefully we've already lost a few of those teachers, so we're kind of worried too that, and there's no extra money whatsoever for that position.
Right.
And the same as a regular teacher, just like us. I was telling Jemal earlier, Whitney, about us being assistant principals. I mean, I really feel like I guess you get paid an extra month. But in our county, they you only work like 4 weeks, I think, 1 month. And then just the principals are gone, and the only person at the school is the principal.
Right.
For the summer. So I mean, I don't know, and I know it's a big job with every state, and it seems like we're talking about California and Illinois being in the most debt of any 2 states in the country. But I think Illinois, you make a lot more money being a teacher. Like North Carolina, I think everybody does. And so,
now, for your wife, was that a district-funded initiative, or?
See, at one, I think it's race to the top money. I think it's district-funded, and we got on board with this. And I'm not sure what the parameters were for us to get that money, but our county has really done a good job with funding. I don't feel like we've lost as many positions as some of our neighboring counties, because our superintendent's done a good job as far as holding out for certain things and using certain money. And I mean, we've cut custodians on bus drivers right now at our school. I mean, we've cut out a lot of things. So a lot of teachers now, they're driving morning and afternoon, and our assistant principal, he is responsible. He's driven probably 150 days out of 180 days this year. So there's a lot of, so we've saved some positions, but it's affected other parts of our school. Our custodians are as much part of our school as anybody as the teachers are. I mean, they do proctoring. They do supervision, in which, I don't even know if that's legal. If they're held responsible. But, at our school, they do a lot. They're very important at our school. But the state debts, it just seems like the state debts are, we're going deeper and deeper. But we have to take care of our kids. We have to take care of the schools. I don't see a way around not raising taxes just a little bit. And then we had a bond referendum in our county, and it was adding a sales tax to food. And I thought that would go through instead of adding, to property tax. But it didn't. I just thought in our county, we have a very diverse population, and I thought, not everybody pays land tax. We have a lot of migrants that come here and work in the fields and clinics, and I just thought, man, that would be a great way, because they only live here a couple months out of the year. That would be a great way to take care of a lot and hit them on food instead of land tax. Because they're renting, they're really not paying taxes. That's one way to raise revenue, but
now, do you think that, an increase in state funding will actually, create better opportunities really to increase the equity and the adequacy and equality? Would that help a whole lot? Or is that left until the local, to your LEA?
That's a good question. I mean, that's a good question. I think that's, I think that's going back to what you were talking about. It's so big. Our LEA, we do get a supplement at the beginning and at the end of the school year.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how many positions that they feel compared to what our state does. In this case study, we're talking about how much money that they have per, as far as the state, how much money they 36.8% of the revenue is by the state, and then 73 is by federal grants. And it says that's unacceptable in our case. So I'm like, I don't know.
So it appears that their local revenue is contributing more, like making a lot more decisions, but has a great influence.
Yeah.
Which I guess can present its unfairness at times.
Absolutely. Do you guys, does your local government take care of you guys at all with supplements or anything like that?
Well, mine doesn't. To mine, because I live in a different county than right next to where I work. But to my understanding, like a couple years or so ago, it was on the ballot to have supplements. But some type of propaganda, some stuff got out about, an increase in taxes.
Yeah.
And
and you start
down on it. So
I think that word scares everybody. Taxes. That scares everybody.
So they're working to try to bring that back up. So because in Halifax County, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there are 3 districts in Halifax County.
Wow.
So 2 of the districts, if I'm not mistaken, receive supplements, but the actual county school where I work does not.
Wow.
So we receive state funding, but as a teacher, we're always asking, well, where's the money going?
Yeah.
Because if you hear, just from someone on the inside that they've gotten this particular grant or this amount of money, and you're like, okay, well, isn't that supposed to come to us or go to someone? But when your superintendent gets a bonus for every school that makes growth at the end of the year, $8,000 to $10,000 or $12,000 per school.
Yeah.
Where else can this money? It should be going somewhere else. I don't mean in harm, but.
Well, and just think about this for a second. And this what made me think about when I read this governor's speech. You're going to be an assistant principal, and you're interviewing teachers, and you're interviewing them from different states, and they're coming in here, and you're trying to pull them in, and they probably have looked at the pay scale, but it's almost like how do we get new teachers? How do we get kids involved in programs in college to want to be teachers in North Carolina? We did away with. My wife was a teaching fellow scholarship person, where if she taught in the state of North Carolina for 4 years, her schooling was paid for. And that was a great program, and I think that got a lot of great teachers involved in college. And now we've done away with that.
Yeah.
North Carolina, and I'm like,
yeah, and then it's not like it's in the best of light. It's always in the news.
I know. And so for her, that was a great program where, she got a letter every month or every year saying she had fulfilled one of those 4 years, and it showed her how much her scholarship was worth. I just thought that was a great teacher recruitment in the college, for kids that want to be. And I've got 2 daughters who are 13. They're twins, and their mom and dad are teachers, but I don't know that I really want them to be teachers in the state of North Carolina.
Working at a high school, we do, obviously, kids are going to college when they leave us. And just the other day, I was having a conversation with our 2 counselors, and think anybody from our senior class this year is going into education. And then one took, like on one side, because I love teaching and I, am so passionate about it, I want kids to go into teaching. But at the same time, I'm like, why? Or either go into it, but go to another state where I feel like you're valued for what you're doing. And I have students that come and tell me all the time, Miss Sluder, I really want to be a teacher, but my parents refuse to pay for me to go to school for 4 years. For what?
Well,
or if I try to, get student loans and go to school, how long is it going to take me to pay those off?
Right, and you're only starting off at $35,000, and you're already in debt $70 when you come out of school.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pay for college. I mean, and that's real world stuff. But you're right, Jemal. It just seems like this is big. I mean, it really is. And I was looking at those 6 things that they talked about in the book. It says improvements in state budgets and unfunded liabilities, new and improved definitions of adequacy, recognition that the funding of school districts by relying on local property taxes, haves and have-nots, resolution of the national debate of the definition of student achievement, outcomes, and standards, and recruiting and retaining high-quality teachers while addressing the emerging issues surrounding collective bargaining. I'm thinking about the presidency. What are these 2 people going to do for education? I don't know.
And I think, recruiting is one thing, but retaining
is another. Yeah.
Right.
And in Guilford County, we do have a local supplement, like you were saying, Bruce. But and we have one school district. It's just Guilford and separate county and city schools. There used to be, but there's not anymore. And I think it was 2 years ago, the county commissioners tried to pass a local sales tax, but it didn't pass because county commissioners are voted in, and it was never really clear, like if they were to be voted out and somebody new comes in, are they still going to hold the promise of whatever that sales tax increase was going to education? The people didn't buy it, and we didn't get it. So it's back to that propaganda thing too.
Yeah.
So think about that.
And I think about the people who have been before us, all the assistant principals, all the teachers, all the, they've gone through this too. I mean, with the budgets and stuff. You hope that our superintendent, it seems like we fight with our county commissioners. It's in the news a lot, fighting with him. And he's just trying to get little things. We're not asking for major things. We're just, help with our schools, fund our schools, help with, maintenance. And then it seems like every year we're fighting the same battles,
Very cool.
It's always something.
All right, we're down to 8 minutes. Our recorder just popped up and said 8 minutes left. After that, we have to pay for this. You guys have any kind of final thoughts, I guess? For me, just like Jemal said, making it so broad. This is very broad, and then many others. We were talking about this before you came on. Everything that I was thinking about just gets me to thinking about what's going on in North Carolina compared to this study. Just trying to compare it, and I guess that's what Gardner Webb and you guys. This has been great for me because getting new perspectives on. It really has. And then like commenting the other day on our safety plans, well, they were, seeing what other states do, and then just on that employment law,
Whitney, any final thoughts?
I just think we're not going to be able to solve that problem or this problem in one day. I wish there was, but there's not. And I just think the question, though it is broad, is how do you increase funding for education while still trying to make it a high quality free public education for everybody?
Yeah. And
I don't have all the answers, and I know that none of us do, but it's something to think about going forward. And how can you not only help your school district, but as an administrator, help your school overcome the lack of money?
Right.
Which is something I think personally our school does very well. We go out and look for money. And while it only helps our school, I can't help but think if everybody did that, what kind of state would we be in?
Well, and I feel like too, our school, every program is fundraising like crazy. Fundraise. And I actually look at the head in the book, and it talks about there's a fundraising case study, I think, coming up, or something talking about it. But I mean, our school budget is, and I was looking at that the other day. I mean, our school budget is just like, we're struggling, and every school, every team at school, every club, I mean, we're killing the parents and the community with fundraising, with donut cards, with coffee cards. I mean, the band is selling things. I mean, we're really, I don't know. It goes on to help our school. I see it in one of the richest parts of the state. Not me personally, but in this area, where a lot of the retirees makes our whatever we can do to make it across the board equal to everybody. But we have to give and take a little bit on taxes to help our kids. I don't see any way around it.
Yeah. And then it comes down to sometimes you have to sacrifice.
Absolutely.
I don't know for how much, but sometimes you have to sacrifice just to make things better.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, great talk, great speeches, and I'll try to record this, and we'll actually record it, and I will save this link, and I'll try to email you guys this link, and then we'll post it to Blackboard and get it to Dr. Ellis, and make sure it's good. I'll get it on YouTube and send you guys all the stuff that you need.
No problem.
And then when is our next Zoom meeting? You guys?
Don't we have to, I guess, review each other's assignments?
Yeah. Do we review each other on our 3C? Or are we? I mean, how's that working on the peer review stuff?
From my understanding, it seems like we, complete the peer review paperwork. We send it out to each other, whomever we're peer reviewing, and we have a conference about it. That's what it seems like.
Like elaborate more. Right. Yeah, that's what I take from it, Jamal. But I had a question, because maybe I'm just reading this wrong on the syllabus, but when I looked in the assignment category on Blackboard, it says that the peer review for 3C is due Monday the 6th. I thought it was due this coming Monday.
3C is due. 3C is due Monday.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
So then your peer review will be the next week.
Right.
And I got to get up on that as myself and find out how, what we really do, how we're peer reviewing. Are we peer reviewing each other? Because when I read it, it said one person. So I was like, do we go outside our group? I don't know. I need to look at that a little more in depth. I was just worried about Zoom the last couple of days and making sure that we were okay on this case study, and then got to get that organized here. I may send you guys a text. So y'all got the examples, Whitney? Everything good?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna stop this video. We're right at 38 minutes. Okay. So I think we talked about our case study. You guys, if I can do anything to help you guys, shoot me a text or anything, okay?
No problem.
Thank y'all.
I'll send you that. I'll send you guys the link. I'll try to send them to you tonight when we get done, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.